I'm Shyla Velarde. I'm 17 and I grew up in a home with domestic violence till I was 8 years old.
My name is Crystal Velarde and I'm 33 years old, and I was once in a domestic violence relationship, a violent relationship, I guess you could call it. And it went on for about 9 years, from the time that I was 15 till I was about 24.
What I remember was my dad would always pick fights with my mom over and over just stupid stuff. And it would scare me. I would cry. I would try to break it up. Like, I never wanted to leave my mom alone with him.
And I can't even remember when the abuse started. But my first memory of the abuse was when it was being 16 years old and being pregnant and having a black eye. I remember pretty much an everyday occurrence. It was verbal abuse, physical abuse, and I think just along with verbal and physical abuse comes, of course, mental abuse. He was very jealous, very controlling. I was constantly accused of cheating, of taking too long at the store. I couldn't really go anywhere. He just basically controlled my whole life. And I only had one daughter at the time, my older daughter now, and she witnessed all of it. She was just right there in the middle of it. And when I think back, I remember actually the only way that I would get him to stop when he was being physically abusive was to grab my daughter, and he would stop. Not necessarily, not for good, but he wouldn't harm me if I had my daughter. I always tried to be strong and stay away, but he didn't have any respect for anybody, so if I tried to go to my mom's house, he would come pounding at the door, and if I went to my grandparents' house, he would track me down there. It just seemed like there was really nowhere I could hide from him.
My dad, I love my dad so much. Like, I'd always wanted to be with my dad. Like, I hated him for hitting my mom. Like when he would hit my mom, I would hate him and I'd be mad at him and I wouldn't want to talk to him. But I also always wanted to be with him.
It's ironic because we were always the one hosting the family parties. He would like me to make plates for all the men. It was kind of like, I don't know, something that made him feel important, that I was cooking and serving all the men. But if I made somebody's plate bigger than his, then I was in trouble for that. And so no, I never got help. I never got help. I was always too scared. I was always too scared of the consequences. I had found out that he had a relationship with another girl. My son at the time, like I said, was 2 months, and my daughter was 15 months, and I found out that this girl had a baby like the February prior. He basically had a baby in between the birth of our 2 youngest kids, and this all came to light about a week before he passed away, and I confronted him with it. And I truly believe that because I found this out, and because he honestly thought that this was the end of our relationship, that I would leave him because of this. A week later, after finding this out, is when he passed away. And I know in my heart that if he didn't choose to leave this world, I would probably be with him today, because there was really no other. He didn't feel like he could live without me.
I loved my dad a lot and I miss him. I do hate that he did that stuff to my mom. My mom didn't deserve that.
I'm gonna play The Scale Deep Bop Blues by Mark A. Wolf. Okay.
Stephanie Martinez, and I'm a witness of domestic violence.
My name is Montserrat Martinez, and my family has experienced domestic violence when I was little.
I would see my mom and dad fighting a lot and yelling, and they would like yell at each other, and it would scare me a lot. And I would hide myself in my room and cry.
I knew that they were arguing about dumb little stuff, but I didn't know how to react to that. So I would just close the door and I would go into my sister's room with her. I would find her find her crying, and so I would just sit down next to her and we would both start crying.
My name is Maria Juarez, and right now I feel really awkward to talk about my experience in domestic violence because I have never told anyone about what I went through. I feel that it really takes someone who has been there and been abused to really understand what other people go through.
My name is Jorge Martinez Nandi. I've been married for 12 years. I will try to explain this in Spanish. It's my first language. It will be more easy for me to explain what, in shortly time, what's happened in my 31 years old life. I want, before you guys say, there it is, I want to explain you a little bit how difficult to be a Mexican in Mexico. So I will try to explain this in Spanish. It will be more easy for me. Una vida cuando no lo teníamos preparado, y eso fue a causa de
things were not easy at all. This new culture was very different to what I was used to. In our marriage, there exists a lot of violence coming from me. I'm not trying to make excuse because violence is a violence against your partner.
En nuestro matrimonio existió mucha violencia de parte mía. Por lo mismo no justifico, no hay ninguna razón de justificar lo que es violencia contra tu pareja, ¿verdad?
The relationship that my husband and I had before involved physical, mental, emotional, I could say psychological and verbal abuse. At that time, I felt as if there was no way out, but there was.
They got married when they were 18, and I know that's not good. But as the time grew, like when they were 22, they got into those groups, and that was when I was like 2 or 3. Well, they accomplished so much.
There were times when I was constantly being put down and my self-esteem was lowered. I know that you don't have a good feeling about yourself when someone who claims to love and care about you tells you that you are worth nothing and will never be anything out of life. I had to put a stop to that. I wanted my life and my kids to be positive, and now it seems to be. I still had days when I think about what I've been through and I feel sad. I feel like melancholy, I would say. But I know that I know that we're okay. I know now that I'm strong and that I can make it through anything. I no longer allow people to disrespect me or mistreat me. That doesn't sit well with me now.
Bueno, con la ley también, ¿verdad? He pagado
Pay every moment of my mistake with tears, suffering, and with the law. But most important, what I have to learn is the difference between being a man, a father, a husband, and a macho.
Ligera o delgada, algo tan insignificativo en ser un hombre, es ser un padre, un esposo, un macho.
When I was little, I used to think that it was my fault for my parents fighting, but maybe just because that I felt sad and I didn't know what else to think. But I know that there's other kids out there that think the same thing, and I don't want people to think that. So those groups do help you. They not only help parents, but they help the kids too understand why their parents are fighting. And the parents can also help the children.
I see them that they've learned a lot about what they did when they were younger, and that they know now what is right and what not to do.
Nos casamos a los 18 años. Cuando te lo voy a platicar un joven, ¿verdad? Yo creo que muchos de ustedes saben el momento de ser un adolescente. El que quieres, el que piensas que las puedes.
Suddenly we got married when we are 18 years old. I think that everyone knows when you are a teenager, you think that you can do it all, and you are indestructible. When we got married, none of us were ready. We didn't have any objective or ambitions. We didn't focus on anything.
Nos casamos y pues la familia aceptó en sí, pues nos casamos por razones de que nos teníamos que casar.
Thanks to Parents Anonymous, which taught my husband and I to understand each other and our children more. In this group, you get to listen to real stories that happen to people other than yourself. They teach you to forgive, understand, and care for those the ones that you love.
Have you ever asked yourself how hard it is to be a man? Or maybe some of you know that being a man is very difficult. That one come home and has the power to protect his family, has the power to let them know they are safe, but at the same time let them know that he is the head of his family. And by doing all this, is making them feel respect. This is difficult, it's complicated. All this time, my wife and I have been working very hard to keep moving forward.
No, like 8 years have passed, and I'm 12 years old now, and everything's okay because they know that what to do in any type of situation.
4 years ago, I found out about a really important program in our life. It's called Parents Anonymous. This program that we're really grateful for. It has taught us so much of how to be more mature, how to learn how to be a better friend, a better husband, a better father. I will learn to balance my marriage, of what to control is and what authority is. I've learned so many things that I have respect. Respect is for me is most important.
I feel that a woman, especially, should always aim for the best and never, ever settle for less than you deserve.
Yo creo que el amor que nos sentimos, el amor que
the love between us, the love that we share us, keep us together, the patience that my wife has had is the key for us to be together today.
I want to be a doctor when I'm older. I have a lot of role models, and my most role model is my parents, because they have tried to change because they knew it was wrong.
It's a hard journey that my husband and I have taken. And now my husband and I are leaders of Parents Anonymous. By this, I don't mean to say we have no more problems. Occasionally, my husband and I fight. The difference between now and before is that we learned how to understand each other, understand each other's feelings. I can say that it's a battle that never has an ending. But as long as we communicate and resolve our issues in a healthy way, I believe that one day there will be an ending.
This can help me accomplish my goals, and I am going to be the first Latina woman president. You'll see me.